Alrighty then. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matthew Baker of Beautiful New York Tours. An old friend of mine asked me to do a piece about haunted sites in New York City. And sadly, I'm really the wrong person to ask for that because I'm the biggest skeptic there is. My parents were a lawyer and a teacher, so anything that doesn't involve good, hard, solid proof of anything, just doesn't get much of my time. But that does not mean I don't enjoy a good story as much as anybody does. So, faithful or skeptical, if you enjoy a good ghost story, let me introduce you to a sad, sad New Yorker named Olive Thomas. On 42nd Street, you will find my favorite Broadway theater. Of the 40 Broadway theaters, the New Amsterdam is one of the oldest, dates from 1903, and definitely go see whatever is playing there once Broadway reopens because the space itself is just gorgeous. It's an Art Nouveau design. And one of the most important historical aspects of the New Amsterdam is that it is where Florenz Ziegfeld produced his famous Ziegfeld Follies. Now, the Ziegfeld Follies were known as the glorification of the American girl. He loved women. Yes, that means exactly what it sounds like. But it means more than that as well. He genuinely loved women. He loved to watch them perform. He loved to hear them sing. He loved to see them dance. And all that other stuff. But one of the many chorus girls who found fame and fortune performing in the Ziegfeld Follies was a teenager with stars in her eyes named Olive Thomas. Now, it's a strange thing for us to think of today because we tend to associate stardom with big names and international careers, but everybody knew the Ziegfeld Follies and everyone loved them, so wealthy business people and politicians and, other performers and artists would come and see the Ziegfeld Follies and would fall head over heels in love with these beautiful young women dancing on stage. And Olive Thomas had the good or bad fortune to meet and fall in love with Jack Pickford. Now, my fellow showbiz nuts will know the name Pickford. If you know your old classic Hollywood, you may know the name Mary Pickford, who was also, in addition to being a great star of her own right, she was married to Douglas Fairbanks. And Jack Pickford was Mary's brother. He was part of that, Hollywood dynasty. And Olive Thomas and Jack Pickford got married, and it was rocky from the start. He was a philanderer. He was never there. She had given up the stage for him and wound up more miserable than she was when she was single. She felt that, it was truly lonely once she was not alone anymore. And sadly, we're told that that's a somewhat common story. Now, leaving New York, Olive Thomas went to Hollywood and made a couple of silent movies. Some of them are available on DVD or maybe some of the streaming services, but definitely on DVD. But in an effort to rescue their marriage, the Pickfords went on a second honeymoon. Now, this is all after a whirlwind romance. Olive Thomas at this point is only just about 20 years old. And they go to Paris. And one night, Olive gets up in their hotel room, goes to the bathroom, reaches into the medicine cabinet, and picks up a bottle of bicarbonate of mercury. The next morning, she is found dead on the floor. Now, no one knows for sure. There are a lot of people who believe that this was deliberate suicide. She felt everything in her life had gone wrong and it was absolutely hopeless. There were others who said, look, it was late at night, it was dark, she couldn't read French, she picked up the wrong bottle, it was an accident. No one knows for sure, and both arguments have their point. But of course, in a story of the haunted sites of the city, that is not the end. After Olive Thomas's death, first of all, Florenz Ziegfeld paid for her funeral in full up at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx. And afterwards, other chorus girls in the Follies said they saw strange goings-on backstage at the New Amsterdam Theater. Once in a while, janitors closing up for the night would see a woman on stage right before turning off the lights. As soon as they were ready to tell her, "Ma'am, it's time to go," no one was there. But the New Amsterdam Theater spent years and years in disrepair during the bad old days of Times Square in the 1970s and 80s. The theater was locked and abandoned. It wasn't until the Disney Company came to New York and restored the New Amsterdam that it started playing Broadway shows again. That's why Disney's shows are always playing there. I think Aladdin is there right now. And it was during the restoration that the various construction engineers who were working on the interiors reported various sightings, soundings. What was that shadow on the wall? What was that light behind the stage? Who was that singing during odd hours of the day? Nobody knows, but there are many who are ready to tell you it was Olive Thomas of the Ziegfeld Follies. For this and other fun stories about the strange doings in New York City, when you are ready to come to town, please check me out at Beautiful New York Tours. You can search Beautiful New York Tours on Facebook or email me at baker.tours@yahoo.com. Again, that is baker.tours@yahoo. Thank you very much.